Hello, my friends. So, talking about how do you find a new moon or any other transiting event in your chart, and what do you do with it when you find it? So, a lot of times you hear that the new moon is the best time of the month to set your intentions, and I think that's true. I also think it's important to point out that the new moon is the end of an old cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. So, if you think of the new moon in the sky, astrology always relates to the natural world. So, even though we're dealing with spiritual forces, astrology is rooted in an understanding of the natural cycles in this dimension. And at the new moon, that's the time when the night sky, when the moon is darkest. So it's definitely a period of ending and of gestation, which of course is a good time to set your intentions. But I think you always want to release the old as part of whatever ritual you're doing for the new moon. So you don't have to do your ritual, is my ritual not going to work because I didn't do it at the exact moment of the new moon, or I did it after the new moon, or the only day I could do it was the Wednesday before the new moon? What we're dealing with here is we're honoring the gods or the archetypes that sort of make up the world and that act through humans, and they need us in order to come into the world. So they just want to be honored. And I'm going to walk you through how I'm working with this new moon. And I'm using the ruling planets of Scorpio, Pluto, and Mars because the new moon is in Scorpio when I'm recording this. I'm doing my ritual on Tuesday, November 1st, and the new moon was on Sunday, October 30th. But Tuesday is Mars Day. So since Mars is one of the ruling planets of the sign where the new moon is, I'm working with that. Got my red on for Mars the Warrior. Got my black with skulls for Pluto, Lord of the Underworld. So there's all kinds of ways that we can honor the planets as we invoke them to be our helpers. And, again, I don't think we're calling on gods that are out there or down there or outside of us. These are parts of the collective soul that exist within every one of us. So they're real living beings. They're not the same as our waking consciousness, but they are part of us and we're part of them. And what we're doing with ritual is we're just remembering that, and we're actually showing that we care enough about our intention, about what we want to release and what we want to bring in to actually get off our butt and do something about it. So you don't have to do your ritual and set your intentions right at the new moon. It's probably great if you do, but if you're a parent like I am, like many of you, we all have a lot going on right now. And I don't always feel the best in the days leading up to the new moon or the couple days afterwards. So that's usually the lowest time of the month for me emotionally and energetically, physically. So I'd rather do the ritual when I'm feeling good, when I'm feeling motivated. And one of the things that we want to do with ritual is bring your emotions, bring your passion, bring your energy into it. Even if you're emotionally just sad and despairing and grieving, bring that in, and you can argue with the gods, you can cajole them, you can try to bribe them. They just want the attention. So what are some ways that we can activate the energy of the archetypes that we're honoring at the new moon? So we want to use the five senses. We want to use the four elements, so fire, earth, air, water. Don't have to use all of them. Again, it's about your intention. It's about actually doing something in the material world. So don't get hung up on perfection and just not do it. That's kind of the worst place you can go. It's a place I've been. But, color is one. Scent, so burning some incense, lighting a candle, having that flame. Candles are, long standing tradition of intentionality, marking your intention. Burning sage before you do your ritual. Playing the hand drum, banging on some drums or some pots and pans, anything with rhythm and getting just a trance kind of like noise going is great. It's great to sprinkle some tobacco or sage to make a circle, or use your rocks or your gemstones or your favorite toys and make a circle, an honorary sacred circle to do your ritual in. But again, that's if you can't do that, that's not going to undermine the effectiveness of your intention setting. In many of the indigenous traditions, they offer food to the gods, and each of the gods kind of has their special food that they like. So you can do that, just like we leave milk and cookies for the god of Christmas, Santa Claus, right? Whatever works for you. It's just important to kind of like get your body involved, get your senses activated, and then really bring your emotion, your intention, your desire is so important to bring into your ritual. So whatever the old is, you want to symbolically release that. I've done that by holding a rock and just talking about all the things I want to let go of, and then throwing it into a lake or a river. Done it by burning things. I'll probably burn some shit this time around for Mars Pluto. But a million ways you can do that. It's just you can write it down, burn it, just release it, mark your intention to let go of it. And then for what you want to bring in, you can plant something. You can design a prayer flag and hang it in your yard. You can write it out and put it in a picture frame and put it on your wall. You can draw it. You can, come up with your own exciting way. But what you're doing is you're, again, using the physical world, and you're saying, I care enough about this. I really want this intention. And then you want to always ground yourself. You always want to ground yourself before you do the ritual. So that's very important. Connect to Mother Earth, connect to Father Sky. I call in the 4 directions anytime I'm doing ritual work. And then call in your guides, call in your angels, call in Archangel Michael and Raphael and Gabriel. And don't forget the birds, the nuthatches. I don't know if you can hear them, but oh yeah, they're getting all excited about the angels. All right. Angels, woo! Yeah. Call in the ancestors. So I've been listening to Caroline Casey's book, Making the Gods Work for You. And she's an astrologer, and she's great. One of the things that she says about Pluto is that Pluto's really connected to the ancestors. And she has this great idea of when we go to the underworld, which Pluto's the lord of the underworld, and that's where we face our deep, dark stuff, that we can't stay there. We don't want to hang out there. It's a bad place to set up shop for too long. Although Pluto will hold you there for a while, in my experience. But she said, we got to come back up to this world. And what we can do, though, is we can allow or invoke or invite our ancestors to live through us. So for the ritual I'm doing for the Scorpio new moon, October 2016 Scorpio new moon, I have a couple ancestors in mind, and it's easy for me to see my life mission, and Pluto's all about our soul mission. It's the major soul mission planet in the chart. So what Pluto wants us to do is he wants us to, to burn through or to face and integrate, to release the hold of the ancestral patterns and the programming that we were drilled with in childhood, the family stuff, the societal stuff, anything that blocks us from really connecting to the reason, the purpose, our life purpose, the reason that we came to planet Earth and agreed to be born and to have this experience. And I see my life purpose as really being a continuation of 2 of my specific ancestors, my great uncle John and my dear Gramsy. And so I'm going to bring into after I've released the old, I'm going to bring in some objects or photograph, that remind me of those 2 of my ancestors. And I'm actually going to invoke them and say, hey, I want you to live through me. I want you to bring your energy and spirit and power to help me accomplish my mission. Because I feel like they went as far as they could in their time period with their mission, which is really similar to mine, living a creative, joyful life, to put it in very general terms. And I'm not going to share all the specifics of my ritual because that's between me and the ancestors and the gods, right? And you should do the same thing with your ritual. Keep some integrity and some closeness around it. But yeah, so you can invoke the ancestors, invoke the gods, invoke the angels, invoke the higher beings of the universe to support you and protect you. And then you want and do that out loud. Use your voice. And then you just want to say what your intentions are. Speak them out loud. You can just like having a conversation. Say, hey, this is what I want to create. And then you do the positive part of your ritual, the drawing of your picture, or your mandala, or planting something, or whatever it is that you're going to do. And yeah, you'll be good. So what archetypes should I work with at a given new moon? And I go through this in the videos, how to find the house in your chart, how to find the themes, how to find the ruling planets for the sign where the new moon is. And you don't have to use all the ruling planets. You can, if you want to, you can just honor the moon, right? Whatever sign she's in. Again, it's connect with what resonates with you, with your heart. So for any new moon, for any event that you're setting intentions for, it's better to choose one archetype or just talk to your guardian angel, rather than, and do it with passion and with desire and with sincerity and with the full force of yourself, than to get all studious and, write down a whole bunch of stuff that you don't really understand and try to cover all the bases. You don't need to do that. So just, the point is showing up and doing it. And the more you do it, the more it becomes a natural part of your process. So I want to also say that I'm getting very involved with the Scorpio new moon. I don't usually do nearly such an involved ritual, but I'm going through just at the very, very end of a 2-year Pluto transit, and I've really been tuned into Pluto. And I love Scorpio. I love that depth of Scorpio. I've got Scorpio in my natal chart. So this just seemed like the right time to really create an elaborate ritual. But usually, again, I think the rule of thumb is if it's so complicated, you're not going to do it. It's too complicated. Step it back and do something simple. So I hope you found this helpful. Till next time, this is astrologer DK Brainerd saying, may you go with the stars.